Dr. Amanda Reynolds stared at her brother's medical readout, the holographic display casting an eerie blue glow across his gaunt face. The Vaxari device hummed softly beside his hospital bed, its sleek silver surface betraying no hint of the miraculous healing it was supposed to provide. 3 weeks since the aliens had installed their regeneration units in major hospitals worldwide, and David's condition was getting worse, not better. The cellular reconstruction process requires patience, the Vaxari representative had told her that morning, their iridescent scales shifting colors in what she'd learned was a gesture of reassurance. Your human medicine could not help him. Trust in our ways. But trust wasn't in Amanda's nature. Not when it came to technology she couldn't understand, and especially not when it came to her little brother's life. She pulled out her modified tablet, running another scan of the device's electromagnetic emissions. The hospital staff had stopped trying to prevent her. Being MIT's top reverse engineering specialist had its perks, and she'd dropped enough prestigious names to keep security off her back. "You're supposed to be resting," David mumbled, his eyes fluttering open. Despite the pain, he managed a weak smile. Not everyone gets their own personal alien tech inspector. "Someone has to keep an eye on your miracle cure," Amanda replied, forcing lightness into her voice as she studied the readings. "These energy signatures don't match what they showed in the public demonstrations. They're fluctuating in a pattern I can't." The device chimed, interrupting her analysis. The holographic readout flickered, and David's vitals suddenly spiked. His body went rigid, monitors screaming alerts as his eyes rolled back. No. Amanda lunged for the emergency call button. But the Vaxari device was faster. It emitted a pulse of soft golden light that enveloped David's convulsing form. His readings stabilized, but something was wrong. The numbers were too perfect, too uniform. Hospital staff burst through the door, led by Dr. Harrison, their designated Vaxari liaison. "Step back from the equipment, Dr. Reynolds," he ordered, his face tight with professional concern. "The device is handling the crisis." "Like hell it is." Amanda pointed to her tablet's display. "These readings are being manipulated. The device is masking his true condition." The Vaxari representative glided in behind the medical team, their tall form making the human staff look childlike in comparison. "Your concern is natural, Dr. Reynolds, but your interference risks disrupting the healing process. Perhaps it would be best if you waited outside." Amanda stood her ground, fingers flying across her tablet. "David's core temperature is dropping, but your readout shows normal. Either your miracle machine is broken, or it's lying." The golden light intensified, and David's body relaxed completely. For one hopeful moment, Amanda thought the device had finally done its job. Then she saw her brother's chest had stopped moving. "David." The tablet clattered to the floor as she rushed to his side. "David." The medical team moved in with practiced efficiency, but the Vaxari device had locked down. It wouldn't disconnect from David's body, wouldn't respond to emergency override codes. The alien representative made soothing gestures with their color-shifting scales. "The patient's suffering has ended," they said softly. The device ensured a peaceful transition. "Transition?" Amanda's voice cracked. "You mean death. Your machine killed him. The damage to his system was too extensive. We regret that." But Amanda wasn't listening anymore. Through tears, she saw something on her fallen tablet screen, a burst of encrypted data, streaming from the device moments before David's death. Not medical data, something else. She let the hospital staff guide her away, let them believe she was too overcome with grief to resist. But as she took one last look at her brother's still form, Amanda Reynolds made a silent promise. She would decode whatever secrets the Vaxari were hiding in their gifts to humanity. And if she discovered they had sacrificed her brother for some greater scheme, no force on Earth or beyond would stop her from exposing the truth. In her pocket, her tablet recorded another burst of encrypted data, beaming up toward the Vaxari ships in orbit. The first clue in a mystery that would change everything. 2 weeks after David's death, Amanda's garage had transformed into something between a rebel headquarters and a mad scientist's lab. Salvaged computer monitors covered one wall, running endless analyses of the data she'd captured. The air hummed with the sound of jury-rigged servers and the scent of energy drinks mixed with ozone. "Your brother's medical device was just the beginning," Marcus Thompson said, his dark fingers dancing across 3 keyboards simultaneously. The former quantum computing professor had been fired from Stanford for ethical concerns about his hacking methods. Now those same methods were proving invaluable. "I've tracked similar data bursts from every piece of Vaxari tech on Earth." "Show me." Amanda leaned over his shoulder, her unwashed hair falling across her face. Sleep had become optional since she'd started recruiting her team. Marcus pulled up a global map dotted with thousands of pulsing lights. Red is medical tech, blue is their energy reactors, green is communication nodes. Each one phones home to the mothership every 6.28 hours. "Pi times 2, came a quiet voice from the corner. Jake Foster didn't look up from his tablet, where he was drawing complex geometric patterns. "Everything they do is based on circles. Cycles within cycles, like a game of snake eating its own tail." Amanda had found Jake through an underground engineering forum. The 20-year-old autistic prodigy had already gotten banned from 3 universities for taking apart Vaxari tech without permission. His ability to see patterns others missed was worth the risk of recruiting him. Speaking of taking things apart, Dr. Kira Williams emerged from behind a makeshift cleanroom curtain, carrying what looked like a dissected alien circuit board. The former materials scientist's dark eyes gleamed with excitement. "You need to see this." She placed the component under a microscope connected to the main screen. "Look at the molecular structure. It's not exotic alien material at all. They've just reorganized common elements in a way that masks their basic properties. Like hiding a simple message in unnecessarily complex encryption," Marcus mused. "Exactly." Kira zoomed in further. "They want us to think their tech is incomprehensible, but it's built from the same building blocks as ours. They're just..." She searched for the word. "Showing off," Jake finished, finally looking up. "Like when you solve a math problem using calculus instead of simple algebra. Same answer, but it looks more impressive." Amanda felt a spark of the same excitement that had driven her through graduate school. "They're not just giving us technology. They're giving us a puzzle, one they don't think we can solve." "But why?" Marcus swiveled in his chair. "Why give us working tech and deliberately make it harder to understand?" The answer hit Amanda like a physical blow. "Because they're not teaching us. They're testing us." She pulled up the data from David's last moments. "Every device monitors how we interact with it. They're studying our problem-solving methods, our technological adaptability, our potential as a threat." Kira finished grimly. Jake had started rocking slightly, his hands moving faster across his tablet. "The patterns change when we get close. Every time someone almost understands a component, the device modifies itself, evolving. But the base structure stays the same. They can't change the fundamental rules of physics." "Then that's our way in." Amanda moved to the central workbench, sweeping aside empty coffee cups. "We stop trying to decode their complicated versions and focus on the basic principles. Build our own versions from scratch." "The Vaxari won't like that," Marcus warned. "They killed my brother." Amanda's voice was steel. "I don't care what they like. Kira, how quickly can you fabricate basic components with Earth materials?" "Jake, I need those patterns translated into engineering schematics." "Marcus." He grinned. "Keep hacking their transmissions and make it look like we're just another group of frustrated humans failing to understand their gifts." "Exactly." Amanda looked at her unlikely team. The disgraced hacker, the rule-breaking scientist, the pattern-obsessed prodigy. Not the kind of people the Vaxari would expect to crack their technological puzzles. That would be their first mistake. Above them, hidden in the rafters, a small Vaxari monitoring device recorded everything. But its AI was programmed to look for organized research efforts, methodical scientific approaches. It categorized their chaotic garage lab as another failed attempt and moved on. That would be their second mistake. Watch this. Marcus's voice carried across the garage, now cluttered with 3 months' worth of reverse engineering efforts. He'd set up his streaming equipment, ostensibly for his cover story of being a gaming content creator. But today's stream would be different. Dude, your Vaxari tech unboxing videos are getting weird. One viewer commented as Marcus positioned his camera toward their latest experiment. Trust me, chat, this is better than any Rage Quit compilation. Marcus winked at the camera while carefully adjusting what looked like a jury-rigged version of a Vaxari medical scanner. Today's special guest is the pattern hunter. Jake shuffled into frame, focused entirely on the device rather than the audience. The frequencies are aligned. Their version uses quantum entanglement to make it look complex, but it's just a really fancy MRI. The chat exploded with emotes and questions. Most viewers thought this was just another gaming stream with some creative sci-fi roleplay. But scattered throughout the comments, Amanda noticed specific users responding with detailed technical questions, their underground network of fellow engineers. Now watch what happens when Marcus began, but Jake had already flipped the switch. The device hummed to life, projecting a holographic display identical to the Vaxari original. But unlike the alien version, theirs was transparent about its scanning process, showing each layer of analysis. Holy shit, Kira breathed, abandoning her workbench to stare at the results. We actually did it. A working human version of their tech. Amanda was about to respond when Jake suddenly stiffened. Stop the stream, he said, his voice unusually sharp. Stop it now. Marcus scrambled to cut the feed, but Jake was already drawing furiously on his tablet. There was a pattern in the background radiation. Not from our device. From theirs. All of theirs. I've been so stupid, focusing on the circles when I should have been looking at the spaces between them. He projected his tablet's display onto their main screen. Complex waveforms resolved into a simple, terrifying pattern. It's a countdown, Amanda realized, her blood running cold. Every device synchronized to the same temporal sequence, but counting down to what? Her answer came from an unexpected source. Their garage door opened, revealing General Laura Henderson in full military uniform, flanked by 2 soldiers. To the completion of their experiment, she said grimly. And you're not the only ones who figured it out. Amanda moved to shield her team, but the general raised her hands. We're not here to shut you down, Dr. Reynolds. We're here because what you've discovered matches intelligence from other sources. The Vaxari have done this before. She nodded to one of her soldiers, who brought forward a secure tablet. On it was a recorded transmission, the image distorted but clear enough to show a distinctly non-human face. Not Vaxari. The being had delicate, almost crystalline features. This is a warning to Earth, the alien said in halting English. We are the Nihilith. We were like you, once. The Vaxari came with gifts. We accepted. We studied. When we began to understand, it was too late. Our technology, our infrastructure, all of it was connected to their network. The transmission crackled with interference. They used us to perfect their control systems. Earth is their final test. Don't let them. The message cut off. General Henderson's face was grim. This was intercepted 3 days ago. We've been tracking your team's progress through back channels. You've gotten further than any official research group. Because we didn't follow their rules, Jake said, still drawing patterns. The Vaxari think in straight lines. Hierarchies. But humans. We're chaos engines, Marcus finished. That's why my stream worked. They're monitoring official channels, but who watches a gaming stream? Exactly. The general stepped further into their lab. And that's why we need your help. The countdown you discovered. Our analysts think we have less than 2 weeks before the Vaxari implement what they call Phase 2, and given what happened to the Nihilith, we won't let that happen. Amanda said, thinking of David. She turned to her team. How quickly can we scale up production of our reverse-engineered tech? With military resources, Kira grinned. Give me a day to draw up the plans. Above them, the Vaxari monitoring device recorded everything, still dismissing their chaotic work methods as inefficient and primitive. That would be their final mistake. The revolution started with a meme. When the alien tech is sus, Marcus read from his phone, chuckling. 2 million shares in 3 hours. The Vaxari have no idea their classified control circuits are being passed around as joke templates. Amanda watched the latest compilation video go viral. Engineers worldwide posting reaction videos to Vaxari tech, each one containing carefully disguised instructions for bypassing alien security systems. What looked like random gaming rage to surveillance AI was actually a revolutionary engineering handbook. Australia's on board, Kira announced, checking their secure channels. The Sydney team cracked the power distribution nodes. They're hiding the plans in Aboriginal art patterns. The Vaxari algorithms completely ignore them as primitive cultural artifacts. General Henderson, now a permanent fixture in their expanded operation, nodded approvingly. Similar reports from every continent. Lagos is using music rhythms to encode semiconductor designs. Tokyo embedded replacement circuit patterns in anion frames. Even my daughter's knitting group is spreading nanofabrication techniques through traditional patterns. Humans are weird, Jake observed from his corner, surrounded by screens showing data flows. The Vaxari expect resistance to look like resistance, but we're hiding a technological revolution in cat videos and craft projects. Amanda smiled, remembering David's love of internet pranks. He would have appreciated this approach. How close are we to full replacement capability? 80% of critical infrastructure has shadow systems ready, the general reported. The moment they try to activate their control network, we can switch to our own tech, as long as we can keep them from realizing. An alarm blared from Jake's station. He didn't look up, but his hands moved faster across his interfaces. They're scanning irregular patterns, looking for anomalies in human behavior. They're learning. Marcus cracked his knuckles. Time to add some noise to the signal. You ready for the biggest stream of your life, Jake? For once, Jake grinned. I've already written the script. We're going to speedrun their entire security system. The chat's going to go crazy. The next 12 hours became a masterclass in technological sleight of hand, while Jake and Marcus staged an elaborate challenge run of supposedly trying to understand Vaxari tech, failing in spectacular and entertaining ways. Underground fabrication facilities worldwide kicked into high gear. India's done, Kira reported, watching coordinates light up on their global map. They've replaced every Vaxari medical system with our versions. Patients won't see any change in care. But we control the infrastructure now, Amanda finished. She turned to General Henderson. European Union. Ahead of schedule. They've been hiding replacement parts in modern art installations. The Vaxari apparently have no context for understanding abstract expressionism. An alert pinged from Marcus's station. Viral success. Our failed speedrun just hit 10 million views. The Vaxari are flagging it as evidence of human technological inadequacy. Their report actually calls us, and I quote, endearingly primitive. Amanda allowed herself a moment of satisfaction. The alien superiority complex was working against them. They were so convinced of their own technological supremacy that they couldn't conceive of humanity succeeding through apparently random, disorganized methods. Dr. Reynolds, a young lieutenant, rushed in. We've got a priority message from the Nihilith Resistance. The crystalline face appeared on their main screen, clearer this time. Earth's efforts are detected but misunderstood. The Vaxari believe your species is following their predicted failure pattern. But they've moved up Phase 2. You have 36 hours. The transmission ended. The garage-turned command center fell silent. Well, Marcus said, breaking the tension. Good thing we work better under pressure. Call everyone, Amanda ordered. Every makerspace, every underground lab, every crafting circle and coding club. Tell them it's time for the final. Jake was already broadcasting to their network, his message hidden in what looked like a gaming tournament announcement. Kira's materials science teams began final production. General Henderson mobilized her global contacts. And above them all, the Vaxari monitoring devices recorded everything. Their AI still faithfully reporting that Earth's primitive attempts to understand their technology were proceeding exactly as expected. In 36 hours, they would learn just how wrong their expectations had been. The Nihilith refugee materialized in their lab at midnight, his crystalline form shimmering under the fluorescent lights. General Henderson's security team had smuggled him in through a network of underground tunnels, avoiding Vaxari surveillance. "My name is Kexval," he said, his voice resonating like wind through crystal. "And I am what remains of my world's resistance." His transparent skin revealed internal structures that pulsed with dim light, evidence of severe damage. Amanda stepped forward. "The warning you sent us was incomplete." Kexval moved to their main display, crystalline fingers interfacing directly with their systems. "Watch. This is what Phase 2 truly means." The screen filled with footage that made everyone flinch. Cities going dark as Vaxari technology activated its hidden protocols. Medical devices turning against patients, power grids overloading, transport systems trapping millions. "We thought we were clever too," Kexval continued, his internal lights flickering with what Amanda recognized as pain. "We created our own versions of their technology, but we made them too similar, too predictable. When the Vaxari activated their control systems, ours responded to the same commands." Marcus swore softly. "The meme strategy. They've noticed it, haven't they?" "Yes." Kexval's crystalline form dimmed further. "Your species' chaotic approach confused them at first, but their adaptive algorithms have begun to detect patterns in the chaos. Your viral videos are being flagged. Your social media challenges are being analyzed. You have hours, perhaps, before they understand." Jake hadn't looked up from his screens, but his hands were trembling. "The spaces between the patterns are shrinking. They're learning to think like us. Or trying to," Kira interjected. She pulled up their latest fabrication data. "But look at this. Every time they adapt to one of our methods, we're already shifting to new ones. We're not just being random. We're evolving faster than their algorithms." General Henderson studied the Nihilith footage grimly. "How many survived on your world?" 12 million. Out of billions." Kexval's voice carried centuries of grief. "Those who lived were the ones who rejected technology entirely. The ones the Vaxari deemed too primitive to bother controlling. My resistance group, we were the only ones who kept fighting, who kept trying to understand." Amanda thought of David, of how the Vaxari device had simply decided he wasn't worth saving. "How did you keep going after losing so much?" "Because each failure taught us something." Kexval connected to their network again, downloading technical data at incredible speeds. "Your human phrase is learning from mistakes. We learned from our greatest mistake, trying to beat the Vaxari by becoming like them. Organized, efficient, predictable. But that's not what we're doing," Marcus said slowly, understanding dawning. "Our mess of memes and games and crafts. It's not just camouflage, is it? It's actually a better way of solving the problem." "Precisely." Kexval's inner light pulsed stronger for a moment. "Your species thrives on chaos, on individual expression. Each human approaches problems differently. The Vaxari cannot predict or control what they cannot standardize." An alert flashed across their screens. Jake's hands flew across his keyboard. "They're starting. The Vaxari just initiated Phase 2 preprocessing. All their devices are beginning full-spectrum scans. Earlier than we predicted," General Henderson snapped. "How long?" 20 minutes until they discover our replacements," Kira calculated. "Maybe less." "No." Jake's voice was firm. 12 minutes. I can see it in the pattern gaps. 12 minutes until they realize humans aren't as primitive as they thought. Amanda looked at her team, the hacker, the scientist, the pattern hunter. At General Henderson, who'd trusted their crazy methods. At HFY, who'd crossed galaxies to warn them. At the screen showing millions of humans worldwide, each fighting the alien threat in their own unique way. 12 minutes, she said. Then let's show them exactly how unpredictable humans can be. Above them, the Vaxari monitoring devices began their final analysis, still struggling to comprehend how a species that spent its time sharing cat videos and knitting patterns could possibly pose a threat. They were about to find out. All stations, go dark. Amanda's command echoed through their global network. Within seconds, millions of screens worldwide flickered to black, every human-made replacement for Vaxari technology seemingly shutting down. In their command center, only Jake's minimalist interfaces remained active, camouflaged as simple gaming displays. Concurrent device failure detected, the Vaxari observation AI reported. Human infrastructure experiencing critical errors, initiating Phase 2 ahead of schedule. Marcus grinned at the alien message. They took the bait. They actually think they broke us. Across the planet, Vaxari technology began its takeover sequence. Medical devices locked down hospitals. Power stations initiated override protocols. Communication networks redirected to alien control nodes. But something was wrong. Their commands aren't propagating properly, Jake reported, his fingers dancing across his keyboard. The chaos patterns we built into our replacement tech. They're working like a virus. Every time the Vaxari system tries to establish control, it runs into random variations it can't process. On their main screen, a global map showed Vaxari control attempts as red lines, spreading like cracks in glass. But wherever they touched human-made replacements, the lines fragmented into rainbow fractals of independent systems. Beijing is reporting full immunity, Kira announced. Their quantum labs hid command protocols in mahjong game patterns. The Vaxari AI can't distinguish strategic moves from random plays. European grid secured, General Henderson added. They embedded override codes in football chants. Fans are literally singing their power stations free. HFY's crystalline form pulsed with something like hope. This is beyond what we imagined possible. Your species' devotion to apparent chaos is driving their systems crazy. Marcus finished, watching his monitors. Look at this. Indian tech support scammers are flooding Vaxari networks with nonsense calls. Nigerian prince emails are carrying encrypted defense codes. K-pop fans are using dance videos to distribute kill switches. Amanda allowed herself a small smile. Humanity isn't just resisting. We're doing it in the most annoying way possible. A priority alert flashed across their screens. Jake's hands stilled for the first time in hours. The Vaxari flagship is launching emergency protocols. They're trying to shut down everything. All technology on Earth. Let them try, Amanda said. She opened a channel to their global network. All stations. Operation Rickroll. Across the planet, every screen, speaker, and interface suddenly began playing the same thing. Not just Rick Astley's famous music video, though that was part of it, but millions of variations. Remixes, covers, memes, each one carrying a fragment of code that reinforced human control of their infrastructure. The Vaxari AI tried to adapt, to find patterns it could counter. But every time it cracked one version of the code, it found 10 more hidden in cat videos, recipe blogs, and social media posts. Their flagship's primary AI is experiencing cascade failures, Jake reported, almost laughing. It's trying to analyze every human cultural reference simultaneously. They never considered that spam could be a weapon. Multiple Vaxari systems crashing, Kira confirmed. They can't handle the sheer volume of random human creativity. Every meme, every joke, every silly dance trend is carrying our counter protocols. General Henderson received a priority message. NASA confirms the Vaxari fleet is falling into disarray. Their hierarchical command structure is breaking down under the information overload. We did it, Marcus asked, barely believing it. We actually crashed their systems with shitposting. No, Amanda corrected, watching the global map light up with successful human takeovers. We did it by being exactly who we are, a species that turns everything, even an alien invasion, into content. Kexval's crystalline form blazed brighter than they'd ever seen. Your victory will echo across galaxies, not because you defeated them, but because of how you did it. You proved that chaos isn't weakness. Diversity isn't inefficiency. Individual expression isn't. He trailed off as Jake's screens filled with new data. The pattern hunter's eyes widened. What is it? Amanda asked, recognizing his breakthrough expression. The Vaxari network. In its confusion, it's opened up everything, including data about other conquered species, hundreds of civilizations, all waiting for a chance to break free. Jake looked up, grinning. And we just showed them how. Above them, the last Vaxari monitoring device struggled to process what it was witnessing, its circuits overloading as it tried to understand how its masters had been defeated by what appeared to be an entire planet of trolls. The revolution wouldn't just be televised. It would be memed. The Vaxari High Commander materialized in their command center without warning, its iridescent scales rippling with barely contained rage. 8 feet tall, flanked by crackling energy fields, it should have been terrifying. Instead, Marcus started streaming. Yo, what's up, chat? You won't believe who just joined our speedrun. His casual tone made the alien leader's scales shift to a dangerous red. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Silence. The commander's translator boomed. Your species' interference in systems beyond your comprehension ends now. Your primitive tricks can it. It stopped, distracted by Jake rapidly clicking a pen in the corner. Sorry, Jake said, not looking up from his screens. Helps me think. Click patterns make the numbers work better. Did you know your control systems have a really nice rhythm if you map them to drum beats? Amanda stepped forward before the commander could respond. Your systems aren't beyond our comprehension. They're just deliberately overcomplicated. Like a peacock's tail. All show, no substance. Insolence. Energy crackled around the alien leader. We have guided countless species to technological enlightenment. Our methods are proven across galaxies. Your methods are about control, not enlightenment. Kira joined them, holding up one of their reverse-engineered devices. Look familiar. We rebuilt it with bottle caps and recycled smartphones. Works better than your version. The commander's scales shifted through colors so rapidly they blurred. Impossible. Our monitoring systems showed only failure. Your species spent its time on meaningless entertainment, primitive crafts, pointless social interactions. Yeah, about that. Marcus swiveled in his chair, his stream chat scrolling with excited comments. Turns out humans can multitask. We can watch cat videos and revolutionize alien tech. We're weird like that. Speaking of weird, General Henderson stepped in, tablet in hand. Your invasion fleet is currently being serenaded by a global chorus of "Never Gonna Give You Up" in every possible remix and language. Your AI can't handle the cognitive dissonance. The commander raised a hand, energy gathering. Enough. We will simply eliminate all technology on your world. Start again with a more cooperative population. About that too. Amanda smiled. Jake? Jake finally looked up. I mapped the patterns between patterns, found the gaps in your thinking. Your systems can't process true randomness. You see everything as either order or error, so we became the error. Screens around them lit up, showing Vaxari ships worldwide losing power. Their supposedly fail-safe protocols encountered everything from K-pop choreography to sort of starter instructions, each carrying fragments of human counter-programming. Impossible, the commander whispered. Your species was rated as barely capable of basic technological understanding. Your cultural transmission showed no coherent development pattern. Exactly. Marcus's stream chat exploded with emotes. We don't do patterns. We do chaos. Beautiful, creative, unstoppable chaos. Kexval stepped forward, his crystalline form glowing. This is why my people fell and humanity stands. We tried to match their order. Humanity embraced its own nature instead. The commander's translator struggled with overlapping frequencies as its scales strobed in confusion. But your methods are inefficient, illogical, a waste of resources and time. Time you spent watching us waste time, Amanda pointed out, while we rebuild every piece of your technology our way. Did you ever wonder why humans love hiding things in plain sight? Why we turn everything into games and jokes? Because it's fun, Jake announced, executing his final command sequence. Above them, the last Vaxari monitoring devices crashed, overwhelmed by trying to categorize 10 million different versions of the same meme. The commander staggered as its energy field fluctuated. You cannot. Oh, we absolutely can. Amanda stepped closer. Here's the real question. What happens when we broadcast our solution to every species you've conquered? When we show them that the key to breaking free isn't becoming more like you, it's becoming more like themselves. The alien leader's scales went completely white. Without another word, it vanished, leaving behind only a faint smell of ozone and a confused silence. Did we just defeat an advanced alien empire with shitposting? Marcus asked, his stream going wild. No, Amanda corrected, watching the global map light up with celebrations. We defeated them by being human. The shitposting was just a bonus. Above the Earth, the Vaxari fleet began a hasty retreat, their perfectly ordered battle formations dissolving into chaos as human-made viruses spread through their network, carrying a simple message. Subscribe for more content. 1 month after the Vaxari retreat, Amanda stood in Times Square, watching the screens that once displayed alien technology protocols, now showing something far more interesting, an intergalactic maker fair. The Nihilith delegation just uploaded their first meme, Marcus announced, checking his phone. It's terrible, but in a charming way, like dad jokes but with crystals. They're learning, Jake said, his tablet displaying a complex network of cultural exchanges flowing between Earth and former Vaxari-controlled worlds. Not to be like us, to be more like themselves. The largest screen showed a live feed from the International Space Station, where Dr. Kira Williams was leading humanity's first xenotechnology exchange program. Her latest class included beings from 12 different species, each bringing their own unique approaches to engineering. Today we're going to explore quantum entanglement through interpretive dance. Kira's voice echoed across the square. And yes, the TikTok challenge version is absolutely acceptable for your final project. General Henderson joined them, out of uniform for the first time since they'd met her. The Vaxari are consolidating at the edge of known space. Intelligence suggests they're completely baffled. Their attempts to understand how they were defeated have crashed 3 of their primary AI systems. Let me guess. Amanda smiled. They're still trying to find the pattern. The logical explanation. The unified theory of human chaos. The general shook her head. They can't accept that there isn't one. Above them, a Nihilith transport crystallized into existence, its formerly rigid geometric structure now incorporating swirling artistic elements. Kexval emerged, his damaged form finally healed and showing hints of individual expression that would have been forbidden under Vaxari control. The Galactic Council awaits your address, Dr. Reynolds, he announced, his crystalline voice carrying traces of humor, another new development. Though I should warn you, the Cathar delegates have discovered Earth's emoji concept. Expect many inappropriate uses of the eggplant symbol. Amanda laughed, remembering how quickly the alien species had taken to human forms of communication. The Vaxari had forced uniformity, but Earth showed them something better. The power of being uniquely yourself. How's David's law working out? Marcus asked as they prepared to board the transport. Amanda touched the pendant at her neck, a quantum processor rebuilt from the device that had failed to save her brother. Every species has the right to develop technology their own way. No more forced enlightenment. No more hidden controls. The Vaxaries' greatest fear became galactic policy. They didn't understand the spaces between. Jake mused, still tracking data flows. Every species has them now. Places where creativity lives, where innovation doesn't follow rules. The transport hummed, ready for departure. Around them, Times Square continued its eternal chaos. Tourists taking selfies with visiting aliens, street vendors selling "I survived the Vaxari" t-shirts, kids teaching extraterrestrial visitors how to dance to K-pop. You know what the best part is? Marcus grinned, checking his stream chat. We didn't just beat them. We made their whole empire into quality content. It was true. The story of Earth's victory had spread across the galaxy, not as a tactical analysis or historical record, but as millions of memes, videos, songs, and stories. Each species added their own spin, their own cultural touch, creating an ever-evolving celebration of diversity. As they boarded the transport, Amanda caught a final glimpse of the Times Square screens. A group of Nilith crystalline engineers was collaborating with human artists, their combined work creating something neither species could have made alone. Nearby, a street performer was teaching alien tourists to juggle while explaining quantum mechanics through rap. Ready for the council meeting? Kexval asked as they ascended toward orbit. The Vaxari sent observers. They're still trying to understand how their perfect system failed. Amanda thought of David, of his love for weird internet humor and endless creativity, of how he would have loved seeing his sister help free the galaxy through the power of human chaos. Let them watch, she said. Maybe someday they'll learn the most important lesson of all. What's that? General Henderson asked. That the best way to advance isn't to make everyone the same. Amanda smiled as Earth receded below them, a beautiful blue marble in space. It's to help everyone become more uniquely themselves. Above them, the stars beckoned, no longer a frontier to be conquered, but a playground for infinite creativity. The age of enforced order was over. The age of beautiful chaos had begun.